Here on Kiwi.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Brand new show starting on TV3. It's called The Almighty Johnson, starring a whole cast of Kiwi actors. Two of them in the Kiwi studio this morning with me, Jared Turner, Dino Gorman. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
This is exciting. Another a new telly show for 2011. No doubt. I'm sure TV3 hoping this one is going to be the runaway success that was our Outrageous Fortune. Mm-hmm. Now there is a link though between Outrageous Fortune and this particular show, isn't there?
Yes, the Rachel Lang and James Griffin, who wrote, came up with the idea of Outrageous Fortune, have also done this one too.
Okay, so there's some good pedigree there.
They're great, and they've been doing it for so long. They've really kind of honed their abilities.
6 seasons of Outrageous Fortune, so they're all set to go with something new.
But this is, as you say, completely new, quite different. What genre would you put in? Is it sci-fi or?
No, I'd say it's comedy drama with a hint of sci-fi in it. I wouldn't really
sci-fi.
Sci-fi? You kind of, it's got those godly elements, but I'd say it's more of a.
Well, there's supernatural stuff. No, but I don't think. I don't think it has to be from space to be sci-fi because it's science fiction.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's mythology, isn't it?
Oh, read up, Dean.
Fine.
Maybe we could make up a new genre now. I don't know if you want to rename it.
Mythiction.
But there's comedy there in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a similarity with Outrageous Fortune. It is the same kind of comedy drama. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's the same tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mytho-comedy.
And it's what James and Rachel do really, really well. You know, do that comedy drama thing.
Yeah.
Where they, you'd be laughing 1 minute and crying the next.
So the story revolves around a bunch of brothers. You two are two of the brothers.
Yeah, that's right.
5 of them?
Four.
And
grandfather.
Yeah.
And you are the sons of Norse gods.
We are descendants of Norse gods.
Okay.
Yeah. So many moons ago, the Hodving, a ship came from. Well, it brought Norwegians to Hawke's Bay.
Yeah.
And they ended up in Norsewood. And so we are descendants of those immigrants. And
why
they brought gods with them.
Would they have chosen to come to New Zealand?
Well, that's a good point.
I don't know, but that's a true story. There was a boat that actually travelled to New Zealand.
No, they did actually arrive.
It came here twice.
Really?
Went back and collected more.
Really. No, because there's Norsewood as a place, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Norsewood.
And it was named because that's where the Norwegians ended up.
As to whether or not they're actually gods that arrived, we can't say.
Yeah.
But we're pretending that they are.
Yeah, okay. Now, you all have various abilities, of course, as being the descendants of gods. You're bound to adopt something from your ancestors. What is your ability, Dean?
My ability is the ability to talk.
Okay.
Evidently,
that's handy.
It's the ability to persuade people using my words.
Right.
Because in traditionally he's the god of poetry.
Yeah.
So he's good with words. But I mean, like all these characters, their powers are very watered down because they've been reincarnated so many times. So my character, for example, can influence certain people, like he's in PR. But people he really wants to influence, or maybe women that he really wants to sleep with, or he can't.
Okay.
Do that with.
So if they're smarter than your character, then it's probably not going to work.
They're a bit more, if they're as savvy or a bit more savvy, then they don't really.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a source of frustration. Yeah.
And is there knowledge of their own abilities, like from childhood, or were they told that they were having these abilities, or do they have to find out?
I'll let you answer.
How do you know? Is that in the storyline at all?
Yeah, it's in the story.
Yeah, it is. The first episode opens on the 21st birthday of the youngest brother, Axel. And there is a ceremony that happens on our 21st birthday in which we find out who we are the incarnation of, which god we are the incarnation of.
Yeah.
And that's, So
you don't find out until you're 21.
Yeah.
And you don't actually get your powers until you're 21 anyway, eh?
No, until you've gone through this ritual.
So Jared, your character, what's his powers?
My character he's the incarnation of Hod, who is the god of cold and darkness. So basically, my power is to make stuff cold. pretty much.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
yeah, it's
Like-
it's super.
Like in a Street Fighter kind of style with like a cold ball out of
Not
your
as
hands?
cool
or-
as that. It's kind of pretty piss.
You know when you
weak,
put
actually.
a wine glass in the fridge and then about an hour you pull out, it's quite cold.
Yeah,
Jared can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can hold a beer and make it go cold.
sure.
So that's about the extent of it.
It's pretty handy.
Yeah,
I
it's
imagine.
handy at a party. You
Yeah.
know, if you there's a scene where I'm talking to a girl and she happens to, put the headlights on.
Right.
So, yeah. So that sort of stuff, And funnily enough, I work as a fridge mechanic.
Okay.
So,
Right. So it'd be fair to say that your characters and all the brothers are good keen Kiwi blokes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, the god power thing, because it's quite interesting, it's been getting people, we do publicise that a lot, but essentially it's a drama, comedy drama about four brothers.
Yeah.
That is the main thing, and then the Norse god thing is
It's part
it's
of it.
kind of what they have to
Yeah.
deal with as opposed to what the show's about, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Does that make sense?
Everyone's got some kind of disability in some way, I suppose.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
being Kiwis, we don't go around and sort of saying we've got these great powers. We've got that sort of, which I don't want to look like a dick, so I'll just keep
Yeah.
it to myself. And also the other side of that is that we can't tell anyone. If mortals find out, bad stuff happens.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I must have been living under a rock, but I didn't even know that the series was even being put together, or was it under a bit of secrecy? Where was it happening?
I think it might have been. I can't
Not
say,
really.
I guess, 'cause
I just don't. I don't travel in the right circles.
but I think up
probably.
until recently, though, like, you wouldn't have heard about it if you hadn't been working
Well,
on it.
I guess there was a lot of focus put on the conclusion of Outrageous Fortune, and that's when we were sort of we were in the midst of filming, and so we kind of sort of went under the radar a bit.
So
I
it's
think.
Auckland based.
Yep.
And is it?
But
in fact-
all over Auckland, like, sort of my character's in the city. Jared, you'd be more out, like, where's your character? Like,
Morningside.
Morningside, yeah, like
Yeah.
suburb, like Mount Albert kind of area.
Yeah.
And then, like, Tim is more suburban, out further, and Emmett's like a student, so he's in, like, Sandringham or somewhere, Kingsland or something like that. And yeah,
Cool.
It's all over Auckland.
Yeah. And so it's the one series so far. How many episodes?
10.
10.
10, and then hopefully you'll get that call up where it's been renewed.
Yeah, well, that
halfway
way
through.
And they did, because this actually has been. Jared and I did a workshop for a couple of years ago. It's been it's been coming together for quite a while now.
Okay.
Rachel and James had this idea a couple of years ago and tried to get off the ground. Blah blah blah.
And you guys have been selected for quite a while to be part
Well,
of it.
we did the workshop, heard about it,
Yeah.
but we still had to go through the auditioning process, so
Yeah.
we weren't entirely sure that.
That whole screen test thing where you sit in front of an amcam and
Yeah, just say
Yeah.
lines and
yeah.
act.
And yeah.
I'll do that
Use
acting.
your
thing. I'll do that
acting.
acting. thing.
Yeah.
Use your
Hope you get
acting.
paid for it. And hope you get the job.
But when they did write it, there was the idea that they storyline past the initial 10, so that is one thing actually about the show. Like, all the stories and gods and everyone does link up quite satisfyingly.
Okay.
There was a big arc that they thought of before they even did the series.
So
Yeah.
oh right, so that could progress throughout future.
yeah, exactly.
Series,
So
okay.
like, if the story continues. The idea was it's continuing on past the 10 episodes. They don't have to suddenly go, oh my god, what the hell? If it does
Yeah.
get renewed again.
And
There's
what
ideas.
about as actors? I mean, you're always obviously hoping that there's going to be more work, and so that you can work like the rest of the people who work at 9 till 5. But there's a lot of risk associated with all this, isn't there? Like the production, This Is Not My Life or whatever, which got cancelled, but it's now been bought by America. Is there some nervousness when it goes to air about what's going to happen? Why don't you watch New Zealand? Come on, tune in.
There are some nerves because we are hoping that people will watch it and
Yeah.
will enjoy it.
I mean, will we see you with sandwich boards on roundabouts? Watch the show tonight, please.
That's up to the public.
Yeah, that's in 2 months' time we'll answer that question.
You get used to not worrying about that stuff. I mean, this show actually, like, I do have a little bit of nerves about it coming out because this show in particular I really enjoyed working on,
Yeah,
and I really liked the writing
yeah,
and the people I worked with,
cool.
which most people say when they're doing publicity stuff, but I actually genuinely
Yeah,
mean
it
it.
was-
You had fun doing it.
It was
Yeah.
you look forward to going to work every day.
And so
because it was so
there's
much fun.
when you have a bit of investment in something, it would be you like to think that what you put into it is also what the public gets out of it as well.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of apprehension, but not
And what will you be doing? When it starts tonight.
Yeah,
tonight,
yeah,
9:30 on
9:30
TV3.
Yeah.
What will you guys be doing? Will you be sitting in front of the telly watching it?
Well, I'm having some friends over, and I invited Jared, but he's having some friends over. So
Oh,
he
I
won't
see.
be coming.
You could come to my place.
Competing.
I organise it first.
Competing screenings.
Yeah.
On the go.
I've invited the writers.
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah, I have.
What a nerd. Well, I've invited John Barnett.
Oh, okay. All right.
He hasn't replied, but
And have you seen it? Have you seen it all before?
We've seen the
Just
first
the first
episode.
step.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all we've
Okay.
seen.
Yeah. Awesome. Will you be able to see it in context with ad breaks?
Yeah.
Actually, but that's kind of cool though, because then it really does feel like it's.
Yeah.
It feels like it's part of the thing.
For real.
You invited the writers. That's hilarious. I invited my mum and dad.
Yeah, well, my mum and dad are in Australia, so
Yeah,
I couldn't invite them.
I'm sure they'll be proud as punch. Well, we're really looking forward to it tonight. TV3 9:30, which means
9:30 yes.
which means it's after the watershed. So is there nakedness and swearing, or what's?
Yes, there
Yeah.
is.
There
Okay.
is. Be
Good.
prepared.
That's all.
I mean, yeah, it's by the outrageous people. So
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, you'd be crazy not to put that.
And look out in future for the exhibition at the Auckland Museum, no doubt. After a mini-series, and it's
Oh,
become a
yeah,
household
yeah.
name.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
actually be there,
Yeah.
preserved.
Dino Gorman and Jared Turner from the almighty Johnson's TV3 tonight, 9:30. Thanks very much, guys.
Cheers.
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 Hey, kids!